looking a little bit overgrown here. Huge difference. Look at that. Nice and clean. Yes, let me get the plate, half chow mein, half fried rice. To go. The orange chicken and the Beijing beef. So I just want to talk a little bit about my dad. For those of you that have followed me on other social medias, you know that my dad is in the hospital right now. He got pneumonia. He's had a tumor in his lung. He's been in ICU for over a week right now. And we keep going through all these different sorts of treatments, and he's just not really getting better. He's on a ventilator right now, so basically he's on life support. Next step would be giving him a tube down his throat. They'll cut a hole and put a tube, and they'll give him a feeding tube, and basically that'll just keep him alive. But he won't really be able to get up. He's too weak to, have physical therapy and all that to get up and move around. He basically can't go home anymore. So not being able to breathe on your own, not being able to eat the things you used to love to eat and do anything pretty much at that, it's really tough. So we can keep him alive and just have him like that, just staring at us all the time, or they can medicate him and take him off the ventilator and let him go peacefully with us there by his side. And I had a very tough time today because my mother is trying to figure out what decision she wants to make to move forward, because none of us want to lose my dad, but we also don't want to see him that way. We also don't want him to suffer, and I know he doesn't want to suffer. So he's in and out of consciousness. He's sedated. He's on a ventilator, but he's sedated. But every once in a while, he'll open his eyes. He'll look at you. He'll acknowledge you. He might be a little groggy, but he'll see you, and he'll kind of like move a little bit. He'll move his hand. He'll squeeze your hand. So I went ahead and asked him, excuse me, if he wanted to continue to fight, or if he just wanted to just rest and be done with everything already. And I was asking him to, shake his head or nod his head, yes or no. If he wants to still fight, nod your head. If not, shake your head. I was trying to explain to him that they want to put a tube in his throat, and they want to put a feeding tube in, and he'd have to go to a nursing home and basically live out his days like that. And he could get bed sores. He will be highly susceptible to a lot of infections. I know my dad doesn't want to live like that. I know he said, before, let's do everything. But now, being on the ventilator with a tube down his throat, he just looks so uncomfortable all the time. Every time he opens his eyes are just so watery, like he's, crying. And all he can do is just look at us and give a little bit of movement. And when I was asking him, do you want to go? Do you want to fight? I kept asking him in very different ways, changing up, like just to make sure that I'm sure. Because I was telling him, even like that, like I want to be sure that I'm doing what you want. And I told him, it's what you want, because you're the one that's suffering. We're suffering, but we're not suffering like you. So I want to know, what is it that you want? And my dad does not want to suffer. And we also don't want to see him like that, regardless of do we want him to live or not, So I kept asking him, and after a while, he would just shrug at me like, "Oh, because of that, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to fight? Are you sure you want to be let go? Do you want a tube down your throat? Do you want, you want a feeding tube? Do you want to live in a nursing home? I have to tell my dad, you can't come home, Dad." So I just want to be sure that we're doing what's best for my dad. And I think what's best for my dad is to let him go. It's very tough. I don't want him to go, but that's life. That's life. People die, and we live with it. And all we can do is just carry on their memory, think of all the good times we had. And one thing that I always think about is trying to live my life better, trying to take care of myself better, and be in better health than my dad was. I would not want my children to see me that way. I want to be as healthy as possible, and to the point where when it's my time to go, I can go peacefully. I can go at home in my sleep or with loved ones surrounding me. And my dad can have that. My dad can have that, peaceful goodbye where we're there with him. He won't feel a thing. He'll be, under medication. He won't be panicking. He won't be, having like shortness of breath and gasping and, freaking out or anything. He'll be calm. And then he'll see us and he'll just go to sleep. He'll go to sleep and that'll be it. So I've had a very rough day, had a very rough week. I got into a car accident a few nights ago. I'm getting treatment. My headaches, my neck, my middle back, my lower back, my elbow has a lot of like sharp shooting pains. My shoulder's starting to hurt. I just hate that this stuff is happening right now. I haven't really been working, so everything's been tough. I'm about to lose my dad. I just hope that things get better and I can do better. So we'll see what happens.